One Love Lottery is a new exciting weekly lottery established to help raise funds for our young people aged 17 to 25 and to generate community wealth in the UK. By playing One Love Lottery for just £1 per ticket, you also stand a chance of winning some amazing prizes, including our jackpot of £25,000 each week. Tickets are available from onelovelottery.co.uk or call 0208 183 1832 for more information. Draws are made every Saturday and you can play as many times as you like. Players must be 16 or over and reside in the UK. Please support One Love Lottery today. United we stand, divided we fall. One love.
Got me running. Shake it, baby. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
Good evening, and good evening again. Welcome to After Dark Conversations with your girl Yvonne Michelle. I am here tonight with you once again, and we have a packed show tonight. Now, tonight again, we have Red Letter Tuesday. Yes, it is that time again. This is the time where you, the viewers, write in with your questions and your dilemmas, and myself and our panel, we try to help you and give you some advice. Yes, some good advice, and we try to take it from an objective position so that we are not taking sides in any way, shape or form, but we are here to help you. So, but before I even get into that, I just want to remind you about the After Dark retreat. Yes. It is called the R Retreat that takes place at Whittlebury Hall on the 29th and 31st of October 2021. Now, this is the time for you to get your tickets. Now, there is a payment arrangement as well. There is a link. I don't know if we've got the advert up. Do we have the advert? No, the advert's not up and ready. So we may play that at the top of the show, the end of the show, to show you again that we have put together a absolutely fantastic package, and it's very reasonable in terms of price. You're getting everything under one roof at Whittlebury Hall. So if you fancy a spa, if you fancy golfing, whatever you fancy relaxation wise, we've got it there for you. And if you want to learn, and let's face it, we all need to learn about relationships, how we navigate, how we improve them, then we have the best relationship and well-being coaches, experts there to help you through and answer any questions that you may have. So don't forget that's the 29th to 31st of October. That is the art retreat. The thing that we've been talking about all year, our backs have been against the wall. We've not been able to organize it because of the way that the world is right now. And let's face it, if you want to go on holiday, it's going to cost you a pretty package. So you may as well come on the retreat. So without further ado, we are going to move forward with the show, and I'm going to introduce our guest this evening. Now, we have the panel, but I'm going to start with who I have in the studio. Oh, yes. It's not just me in the studio tonight, but I do have a special guest, the lovely and amazing Mr. Theo Mandelson. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Looking very nice as usual.
Thank you. I look so bad yourself,
I try to keep up with the people then. Yeah?
That's all we can do, isn't
Yes,
it? We
that's
can
right.
just try and keep up. So, how have you been?
I've been well.
Yeah.
I've been well. Can't complain.
How's things with you?
It's going good.
Tell me what you've been getting up to.
Radio, usual. Got a podcast as well.
Tell us about the podcast.
Oh, it's called Naked Love. It's a relationship, but it's a Christian relationship, and we just ripped the band-aid off and just gone in raw and just do how we do.
Fantastic. I've actually listened to it and it's
You
really
have?
good. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's why I said, what have you been up to?
You thought I might go around it. I was thinking, what shall I say?
Yeah, man, you can say it. You can say it. We like to encourage and big up the people who take part in the show. And you also have a radio show
Every Saturday, 7 to 10, Premier Gospel.
right. There you go. So if you're looking for something to listen to on the radio on a Saturday night, listen to Theo's show. It's amazing. It's a really good show, actually.
Thank you,
And
very
there's some good salsa.
Try a thing.
Sometimes it does wind up myself, you know.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
So
yes.
you want them people in the kitchen doing. I know you do the salsa.
Yes,
I know you do the
I
salsa.
do.
I tried to select a salsa song just for you.
Thank you very much. I love it, love it, love it. And let's bring in our guests who are in the green room online. So who do we have? Good evening, Michelle. Michelle, how are you?
Good evening, Yvonne. Good evening, Theo. How are you both doing?
Very well. How are you? You look very nice. I like your hair.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Go girl.
Very radiant this evening.
Mm.
I'm doing really well. I've had a trying day, but positive vibes are washing over me, and I'll be fine.
Right, that's what we like to hear. And who else do we have in the green room? Hi.
Herbie.
Hey, Herbie, how you
You say, Herb?
doing?
I'm good enough. I'm good. Yes,
Nice
man.
to see you, brother. How are you?
So the sun's been shining. Well, not today, but the sun's been shining. So when the
Yeah.
sun shines, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Although London didn't get washed for the other day, but hey.
Yes, it did.
Wow, I've been hearing that London nearly got washed with.
Yeah, they tried the thing.
Uh,
try.
well, you know, we just have to be grateful for the little piece of sunshine that we do get when we do get it. So I'm very happy that we've had it. And if there's a little bit of rain, let it be at night when we're all asleep.
That's what I pray for every day.
Yeah,
Nighttime rain.
Nighttime rain. Give the grass its medicine, its food, or whatever it needs, and the trees and everything, and then give us the sunshine as much as possible, please. Yeah. So today, guys, we have Red Letter Tuesday, and I have two letters. The first letter, I'm going to jump straight in, and I'm going to read it out. I can actually let Theo read it, actually, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, do you want to do this? This one's a long one. Actually, I'll let you do the other one. I'll do this
Okay,
one.
cool.
You can do.
Because you want to stop on certain points in it. I know you're going to make it all dramatic as you do. So I'll let you do it.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the eyeglasses, the spectacularization. And for those of you, let me just say good evening to those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, those of you tuning into MediaNet Live TV, those of you tuning into Yvonne Michelle TV, those of you tuning in all over. I want to welcome you this evening. It's so glad to have you here. Hi, Patrick Solomon. Hi, Kelly. And I can see you there leaving comments. Right, so I'm going to jump straight in to this. Right, so, okay. Hi, Yvonne. I am writing this letter because I don't know what to do. I've seen your show a few times, and you and your team always seem to give fair and good advice. I don't know if you can help me, but you are an outsider, so I hope you will be able to give an unbiased opinion and advice. I married my childhood sweetheart on the 27th of October 2017. It was the happiest day of my life, and we were so happy. We were eager to start a family, and after a few months, we got pregnant. We were overjoyed, and so were our families. Our daughter was born September 2018. In January 2019, I lost my wife to cancer. We discovered that she had a growth during pregnancy, and we decided to carry on with the pregnancy because we were already 6 months gone. The cancer was aggressive. My wife fought hard for a few months, but she died when our daughter was 3 months old. Okay. So first of all, before I go any further, I'm just going to say because I know that the writer is listening. So I'm just going to extend condolences to you and your family right now, because reading this was a hard letter to read for me. I'm a very visual person, so my imagination starts creating pictures and I see things, and this was a really difficult letter to read for me. So I just want to extend my condolences and let you know that our heart goes out to you on behalf of the show. It goes out to you and your family. So, okay. So in this time, as I go on, I've been raising our daughter. She's healthy, funny, beautiful. She is the joy and love of my life. I read to her and tell her stories about her mum, my wife, and she looks just like her mum. It has been a huge learning curve for me, but I promised my wife that I would be the best dad I could be, and I love being a dad. So the problem is my mother-in-law, my wife's mother. She has become so dismissive. She takes over, she talks down to me and treats me like I'm stupid. When my wife was alive, we had a great relationship. She called me her son, welcomed me into her home. She treated me like a king. Now it is the total opposite. She doesn't respect me because I will not give my daughter to her for her to raise. Now, there is also a cultural issue. I am Caribbean, from St. Kitts descent, and my wife is African, Nigerian descent. I know there are different expectations, but it never really came up when my wife was alive. Well, maybe at first, but we were young and grew together, so that kind of went out the window. Well, I thought it did. The long and short of it is my mother-in-law is a bully. She bullies me anytime I'm there. No one will stand up or challenge her, and she runs things in the family. Her husband died when my wife was young, and she has raised a beautiful family. She raised my wife. She has changed a lot since my wife passed away. I've spoken about her behavior on a few occasions, but she dismisses me and tells me that I have no idea what I'm doing or talking about. I'm really trying to be respectful, but she keeps pushing me. It's hard enough. I miss my wife. Both my parents are alive and I have a great relationship with them. They give me the support and space I need to bring up my daughter and to bring up my daughter in the way I see fit. Don't get me wrong, my mum has had her moments trying to do everything for me, but that was at the beginning. I spoke to her and she backed off, and I know she was trying to help, and I appreciate that. My dad is cool, and I can always go to him for advice, but I can't tell him or my mum about my mother-in-law's behavior. If my family knew about this, it would cause a massive rift, and my mum, in capitals, is got, and mother-in-law would be the clash of the titans.
Ouch.
Yeah, so he goes on to say, I don't want to fall out with my wife's family, but my mother-in-law is making it hard. When I bring my daughter over, it's like she doesn't want me to take her back. So my question is, how do I raise my daughter and keep the peace with my mother-in-law? Should I tell my family? And how do I keep the peace between the two families? I know my wife would have wanted my mother-in-law involved in raising our daughter, and I want to honor her memory. What are your thoughts? Can you give me some advice, please?
Wow, that's a lot.
So there's a lot in that letter, a lot in that letter. So, and I want to thank the writer for trusting us, actually, for sending this letter and trusting us with this. I feel like he's laid his heart out in this letter. And really, it is for us to really think about this seriously and try and give the best advice that we possibly can in this situation. So I'm going to go to the men first, actually. I'm going to keep me and Michelle to last. I want to just really feel and kind of get to understand what you guys are feeling now in terms of hearing this and what you would say.
That's a tough position to be in. It's because you're caught in the middle, isn't it? Trying to, as men do, keep things hidden, so not to hurt people, but it's family and it's your mom and your mother-in-law and your wife's mother and your wife's mom and your mom. It's a lot to try, and then plus you're grieving as well.
Yeah.
And he's trying to learn to raise a child because obviously he's your first child, so he doesn't know what to do. So that's a lot to cope. I don't know how old he is, but obviously he seems pretty young.
Yeah, I mean,
because
he
it's
doesn't.
his childhood sweetheart, so
Yeah.
I don't think they were together. I don't know.
He doesn't say his age.
It doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's just a lot to deal with, and an overbearing mother-in-law can be a tough one. I'm fortunate I don't have that, but it's like I could imagine. I know people that do have overbearing mother-in-laws.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Plus, if your mom's a strong person, and have to try and tell your parent, he has to tell his family.
Okay.
He's gonna have to tell his family.
So this is the first thing.
He's gonna have to tell his family.
So you think he should tell his family?
It's too much for one man to carry. He's got to tell somebody. I know he's trusting us with it, but he's got to tell somebody else.
Okay.
Because somebody that's actually that he can sit down and talk to face to face and cry or whatever. His brother, sister, somebody who maybe can broach his mum for him, or him speak to his mum but just tell her, say, look, mum, I don't want no fight, no argument. It's just, and then sit down. He has to speak to his mother-in-law, even if it's via one of the siblings or one of the children, to speak to the mother-in-law and say, look, this is how I'm feeling. He's got to make them know how he's feeling.
Yeah.
If they don't know how he's feeling, they're just going to carry on doing what they're doing.
Okay.
Because it's tough for him. Because it's his wife.
Yeah.
It's his wife. It doesn't matter what days might be her daughter, but it's his wife. This is the woman he decided he's going to spend the rest of his life with. So he has to speak to the mother-in-law.
Okay.
As hard
Speak
as
to the mother-in-law.
He has to.
So the first thing is to tell the family and
Tell his
speak
family.
Yeah. Well, he does say he's spoken to the mother-in-law a few times, but she just ignores and dismisses. And
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He just has to lyric. Tell her from the heart. Tell her exactly how he's feeling. In the Nigerian community, he has to be in a family. So he has to do it with everybody around, not just one-to-one.
Okay.
It has to be with the siblings, uncles, aunties.
Right.
Because then when he's saying what he's saying, there's going to be one or two people that will support him. But if he's trying to just go one-to-one, she's going to rough him up.
Yeah, because that's what seems to be happening.
Yeah, no, he has to go with the family.
So you're saying in the cultures, now we don't have anybody on the platform who is of Nigerian descent, but I know that you're married to a Ghanaian.
It's the same thing.
Right, okay.
It's a family, because when you marry the family. So if there's any dispute, say between me and my wife, the family have the rights to get involved.
Okay.
And discuss it.
Right.
If it's something really big, the whole family gets involved.
Okay, and then work it out
between what's ever going on.
Okay.
And that's the same with the Nigerian family as well.
Okay.
So you'd have to get the whole family in and just explain everything, how he's feeling, what's going on, how his mother-in-law makes him feel, and everything.
Because he does make note to say that this is not his culture, because he mentioned that he's from Caribbean descent, and
it's not our culture. We don't have the whole family around. We kind of battle it out, argue, cuss each other, and then just whatever happens.
Mash up.
Yeah, but he has to talk to it. He has to bring the whole family in.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Theo. Okay, so Herbs, I'm going to come to you.
Okay. Well, his class there was said that she's a bully.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's defined her as that, but obviously if she's bullying, she's really she, not saying that she'll have issues, but there's a reason for why she'll be bullying or bullying him. I think as Theo was saying, they have to have some sort of gathering, and I know he does want to bring it. He didn't want to involve his parents in terms of discussion, but that's something they have to do. And there must be other family members, probably on her side, who may have who are able to sort of be there to mediate and to help. He needs to kind of seek out those people and have a gathering and discuss it openly, because it can't carry on. It's not helping him, and in the end, it's gonna have effect on his child as well, on the daughter. So it's a hard one, because I know I'm kind of trying to picture myself in his position. I know he's trying to do the best he can do, and he needs to get on with it. You know what I mean? That's, his mind. I need to do what I can do. Yes, I might make mistakes, and obviously, I'm gonna need support. But give him my space, as he said, his own parents are giving him space. So, I'm sure if he needs support, they'll come and run. And when he doesn't, they give him space, and she needs to respect that. She's belittling him. I think, it sounds like she's trying to make out like he can't parent. And to tell the truth, she's got no right to say that. Because I don't know what she's going off. She doesn't really, he hasn't got a track record. He hasn't parented a child before, or as far as we know. So she's just assuming he can't parent. And I think that's very unfair.
Okay, thank you for that, Herbie. Thank you for that. As I said, I know that I assume that this young man is watching the show. So I'm going to come over to you, Michelle. Michelle, what are your thoughts on what's been said so far?
I would say that, first of all, condolences to him and his family, and his mother-in-law's family as well. I do think that my initial thought was that he should perhaps speak to one of the elders in her community, in the mother-in-law's community, to get some advice, an elder man. I think that we have to remember that he is going through very fresh grief. And also, his mother-in-law is going through double grief, if you like, because she lost her husband and she had to take on everything, both roles. And she's now lost her daughter. And more than likely, she's probably seeing everything of her daughter in her granddaughter. And so I would imagine that her natural instinct is to be so close to the child. So I would say that he needs to speak to the elders. He needs to speak, as Theo said, to perhaps the whole family. But I would certainly speak to an elder in the community and express how he's feeling, and see if he can find a way for the child to have regular time with the mother-in-law, but it's a certain amount of time, so that everybody's clear when the child's going to be there and when the child's going to go home. That's what I would say in the first instance. But I do think that we have to remember that the mother-in-law has had a lot of tragedies that she's trying to deal with, and it's most probably raised things in her that were slightly dormant.
Okay. Can you hear me, Michelle? Michelle?
I can.
Great. I just, because there was a little bit that cut out, so I wasn't sure if you could hear me. Thank you for that. I come in and agree with what you are saying in terms of the mother-in-law, because I think that as a mother, you can understand where she's coming from, because he had said in the letter, he does mention that he got on with her when his wife was alive, and she treated him well. But since the wife has passed away, she's changed. And the one thing that I know about trauma, it changes you. And this was how I've read this letter. This is very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick. Yeah. So, within a year of them getting married, they were pregnant, and then in the pregnancy they find out she has a growth and she has cancer. They decide then to go ahead with the pregnancy, to carry on with it, because they're quite far gone. And then 3 months after giving birth, his wife passes away. So, I mean, from the point of view as a mother, for takeaway, I just want to pause the husband for a moment. But as a mother, that's your daughter, that's your child that you've given birth to. You've seen that child grow up, get married, and they're all the things that a mother would want to see their child go through. And she's found this man and she's happy and they're happy. And then all of a sudden, their whole world is turned upside down. And then, so she's got to deal with that. But she's also dealing with the fact that she's raised her children because her husband has died earlier on. It doesn't say how long, but it said in her childhood that the dad had died. So the mother is a strong woman. We know that she's strong, she's resilient, she's raised her children and now her child, and no parent is prepared to lose their child, not one. And so for her, I think this is decapitating. This is like crushing her at her core, in her soul. And the child is the only link to her daughter, right? So, but I'm not saying that makes her behavior right. I'm not saying that, but it's just about understanding where she's coming from. And then on reflection, now you've got this young man who's met this woman, their childhood sweethearts, they've grown together, they've got married, and they've, you know, in my head, they've done it, everything, you know, the right way. They've met, they've, you know, got married, and they've had the children, and they're going to start a life together. And they're happy. They want to start family early. They start, and then in the midst of that, so that's like the rug that's just been ripped from this man's feet. You know, he must be all over the place, you know, in terms of how he thinks. And then he's looking after this baby that, you know,
it's tough. He's in a tough situation. Tough. But as I said, he has to speak to the mother-in-law because they're both hurting. They're both hurting. They're both deeply hurting as well. Absolutely.
I think that he said in his letter that he gets on with his dad. His dad's cool. I think that's what he said. I think that my personal opinion is that he should talk to his dad about the situation, because the dad is more likely to be able to calm mum down. Maybe, I don't know. I'd like to think so. I don't,
you know how you ladies stay already.
I don't know. But sometimes, you know, well, I'm going by old school. What I know of old school, right? And old school is, you know, mum can pretty much run things. But when dad says, stop, all right, that's enough. Enough is enough. Come on.
That's
Mum kind of like,
all right.
How you mean? You know,
that's true. That's
and
true.
The conversation is had. So I would say, I think that he should approach his dad, talk to his dad about the issue of the mother-in-law. One of the reasons why I say that is because the dad could have had or must have had a mother-in-law himself. How do you deal with a bossy, a pushy, argumentative? I'm just making up these words now. Mother-in-law. I mean, I'm a mother-in-law.
What most guys will do would just avoid.
Is that true, Herbie?
We'll just avoid. We'll just avoid that. You'll avoid the situation.
Michelle, do you think that you're going to be a good mother-in-law or a harsh one?
You're going to be harsh, man. I can see it again.
Why would you say that, Theo? No, I think I want to be a good one because I've had mother-in-law, and I think you do marry the family, don't you? Okay. So you need to be mindful, and you need to know when to step in and when not to step in. In fact, not to step in at all, but and not to. I think also one of the things that I'd be mindful of is just making sure that my son doesn't bring too much to me, because I'm naturally biased towards him, and it's hard to unhear things, isn't it? It's really hard to unhear things. So I think I would be mindful of saying to him that he needs to really find ways to sort things out for himself. But I would give him general advice, but I would try and, remain friendly and a little bit remote, because sometimes when they can be a little bit in your face, it can be very, very difficult. So that's what I would be, Theo.
Michelle, do you think that it's a good idea for him to tell his mum about his mother-in-law?
I agree with you. I think he should speak to his father first. I think maybe he should speak to somebody outside of the whole thing. Yes, he's speaking to us now, but I think maybe he could do with a bit of counselling as well. Grief counselling, that would be help to make him stronger, because whilst he's doing all of this, he's raising a child, which is really intense. The baby is about, from what I can work out, about 2.5. So
that's how old I work it out to be.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do there. That's an intense time in a child's life and formative years. And he needs to be emotionally available to the child. So he needs to make sure that he fills his cup. So if I were him, I would get some grief counselling if he hasn't already. And then, I would definitely speak to my father about it. And the only thing I'm mindful of is, if he speaks to his father, he knows that he needs to then go and speak to everybody else. He can't speak to his father and speak to her family, but not speak to his mother about it, because that will cause another problem.
Yeah.
So he needs to get himself feeling a little bit stronger by having some counselling, speak to his father, then speak to both his parents perhaps, and then speak to the rest of the mother-in-law's family, which would be a good idea, I think.
I think that's a good idea. I also think that the mother-in-law probably needs some counselling.
Oh, she definitely needs counselling.
Yeah, she does.
And so that's a conversation that needs to be had, and maybe it, I mean, I'm coming from a Caribbean perspective, because I know you're saying about the cultural way of the African nation is to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
But in my head, in my English ways, I feel like this is a conversation that they need to maybe, I don't know, go to his wife's favorite place, or do something that the wife, bring his mother-in-law to a place where his wife liked to be, and talk about her and bring up the situation and try and work it out. I don't know if that would work, but I would.
I think, well, because of the culture, I think, because the mum's obviously older, and because of where she's at the moment, I don't think that would actually work. Not at the moment, because she doesn't see him, she dismisses him. So, and knowing the culture as well, men are not really looking after children. Men don't look after children. They go to work, they bring the money home. So that's how the mum's looking at it, like, right, how are you going to raise a child? You don't know anything about raising children. That's not your job. That's the woman's job. You're supposed to go and work. I'll have her, you go and do what you're doing. Right. So that's how she's thinking.
Okay.
Because that's the culture. The mum, the women raise the children.
So would them coming together make a difference then, really?
But coming together is just for her to change how she deals with him. And then, as Michelle was saying about the balancing of how much time the child, and they can work that out afterwards. But it's just how she sees him. Like, she could all be blaming him for the cancer. You know, some parents, some people do that. It's your fault why she's dead.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like that. He just have to blame somebody.
Yeah, it's true. Because he doesn't go into anything. He just says we chose to continue.
Yeah. So they could say, you chose to have the child, and that's why my child. You know, some people think that way. You don't know. So having that conversation, but because it's a cultural thing, she'd be more used to that in the family and everybody coming around, her brothers, uncles, elders, whatever, coming around and then talking. Then somebody might say, maybe her sister might say, you know what, sis, you need to hear this young man out. It's a new age, new era. You know, the young man is doing well. Maybe help him. Yeah. Instead of trying to take, because you're taking away his love as well. So understanding.
How do they share?
Yeah.
How do they share? What do you guys think on the panel?
But
Abby?
I think he's got a bit of a, well, over here, because he's over in the UK. If he was in Africa, he wouldn't have a chance.
Yeah.
No, he'd be finished. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have a say.
He would
You know what I
have.
mean?
He would.
It'll be like, yeah, this is what it is, and this is what it is.
Right.
But as Phil's saying, she need to sort of see things have changed now. You know, men now, general men can bring up children with support from parents. She may not see that. She may not even experience that. She may not see that in her culture or anything. You know what I mean? So someone needs to and there'll be someone within the family, someone who's got to have a bit more reasoning and say, look, you know what I mean? You know, give him a chance. You know, give him a chance.
Yeah, we hope because it's interesting how there is that divide of how, you know, we are all one people, but we do things so differently.
Yeah.
And it, I mean, I'm just wondering, you know, because he says, you know, everything was fine when his wife was here, and now she's gone. Everything has changed, and it would change.
Yeah.
But he never noticed really the cultural differences.
No, you wouldn't, because
before
there was no reason to. You just get on with it. You know that they eat different food, or they might do different things. Maybe you go to a party, but it's not really going to be a problem. The difference is when you come into raising children, that's when you that's when things change, isn't it? It's like anything, relationship changes when a child comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Everyone's preferences come along. What language does he speak? This, all that takes into effect.
I wonder, I mean, he doesn't say, but I wonder if that's a part of it as well.
All of that.
You know, but he does say that when he brings her, the mother doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So there's some attachment issues as well.
So I think they need to thrash out a lot.
Yeah, I mean the time hasn't been a lot. It hasn't been a long time.
No,
it's still early days, and it must be very challenging for those who are involved. But I mean, generally, I think what we're saying here is to speak to his dad, speak to his own family, be it his father, and tell him the scenario, ask the dad for advice, and then have a conversation with his mum or the dad and the mum. Maybe the dad is going to have the conversation with the mother on her own, I don't know, but they will work that out.
Yeah.
And the next part would be for him to pull the whole family together, being his wife, his extended family, to pull them together and have this family meeting so that they can actually see him as a person. And one of the things that Michelle said is get some counselling. If you're not getting counselling,
it's important.
Then get some bereavement counselling. And I would also, when you're having that family meeting, mention it in amongst the family, for the family
to get counselling, because they could all be hurting, isn't it?
And then that
because
way,
they all. Sorry,
the mother in that way. Carry on, Michelle.
They essentially, they need to remember that they all want the same thing. They all want the little girl to thrive, be well and happy and content. That's what they all want. So if he comes at it from that point of view, that would be really quite useful. And he also has to recognize, and I'm not saying that he isn't, because we're not sure, but he needs to recognize as well that he does need the help. He really will. The demands of the child will become more and more, she's not in school yet or anything like that. For the past couple of years, we've been under pandemic conditions, haven't we? So what he may be able to do with the baby may be different now that we're supposed to be
coming out
Freedom Day. So he needs to recognize that and tap into that, because I'm sure that the wife's family would be supportive of that angle. And he also needs to find a way to deal with strong women, because it sounds to me that his mother is strong, his mother-in-law is strong, and his wife was most probably a strong woman as well, because they made the decision to carry on and do what they did. So he has to find a way to deal with strong women in a way that he gets the outcome that he needs, and that the child gets the best of everyone, because it's the child that's at the center of this whole thing.
Thanks for that, Michelle. Yeah, that's some pretty sound
Can I just say,
advice.
Yvonne,
Yes, Cabby.
just in terms of his parents, because I think they're going to be keen in this, because he's going to have their support, and they'll have his back. So where he's just on his own at the moment, I think bring them on his side. Well, they'll be on his side anyhow, but bring them into the mix. I think would be a good move for him, because they can then, even when they have the greater discussion, they can probably explain even a bit more, even on the Caribbean culture, on their culture, how we deal with things. I mean, in terms of bringing up children and everything else, so they can see another side to it. Because maybe she may be a bit ignorant as well. You know what I mean? That in terms of like how other cultures bring up children. They're thinking, well, this is what I do, and this is how we have it. You know what I mean? So it might be a bit of an education thing. Someone just explained to her that, no, in the Caribbean or whatever, we do this, we do that, and just a suggestion.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, everybody can learn from somebody else. And just to reiterate what Michelle was saying about the family, it takes a village to raise a child.
That's how the Africans look at it.
Yeah.
So everybody's involved.
Yeah. So sir, the young man, perhaps that might be something, to say, I don't want to cut you out. It takes a village to raise a child, and you are the village, and I want you to be a part of my daughter's life. So I think that would be helpful. But I'm going to say this to the young man. I'm going to say, hold your corner, because you are the dad. You have the child. You are the father.
Yep.
You have to say. And I know that there might be many women that be like, what are you saying that for? Because right is right and right is right. And he is the dad. Mum is no longer here. So the onus falls on him.
Yep, it does.
No one else. It falls on him. And so mother-in-law, as much as mother-in-law, and don't get me wrong, I'm a mother-in-law. I am. And I have a grandson. And it would really grieve me to my heart if something like this happened and I was in this situation. But as the grandmother, I would have to eat some humble pie.
You have to respect the parents' wishes, innit? It's their child. At the end of the day, you have to respect what the parent wants, but you have to know what you want.
Yeah,
you have to know what you want. So him being the man, he has to know what he wants, and he has to stand firm. But do it in a community environment, because that woman is gonna be strong, because she's raised. I don't know how many children she's raised, so she's strong. She's gonna be a strong woman. And as I said, in their culture, men don't raise children.
Right. Yeah.
Men don't raise children.
Yeah. So he has to stand strong.
He has to stand strong. And in the meeting, as Herbie was saying, how they look at it is the families come together. So the meeting, his parents would have to come to the meeting for support.
Okay.
If he needs that support. So his mum can come and represent him. Because when you do the ceremony, your family represent you.
Okay.
So when I got married to my wife, I was outside for most of the ceremony. I was literally outside. My family represented me.
Okay.
So they brought the gifts and they brought everything. And they brought me in as and when they needed to ask me 2 questions and then send me back out again.
Right.
So I didn't actually know what was going on until I watched the video afterwards.
Okay.
So they said it's the family, because the 2 families are joining. So that's how they look at it. So you representing. Right. So they deal with the family, because I can come and talk sweet, but we want to know who's behind you, how you was raised, your mom, your dad, and your uncles. My uncles and my aunties were there as well.
Okay.
It wasn't just me.
So there is. You were the right person to have on today. Absolutely, because
that's how they do it. They're all about family.
Yeah.
So if he brings his mom and his dad and his siblings as well to the family gathering, and then says, "Look, this is what this is how we're gonna raise this child."
Yeah. Right.
So it's a collective.
So as we said then in the beginning, the right thing to do would be to talk to dad, then go to mum, then the wider, and then bring
everybody in.
Yeah.
And then this is how we're going to raise this child, and blah blah blah, and then he can delegate time and aunties and uncles and.
Okay. Well, obviously this is a really sensitive issue, and I hope that we've touched on everything. Is there anything else before we move on to the next letter? I just want to make sure that we've covered everything on this one. Has anyone else got anything else they want to add?
Yeah, I think we have to also be mindful that both himself and the mother-in-law may be operating on automatic pilot, because oftentimes when you're in grief, there's certain things that have to be done. So he's getting on with it, going through the motions, looking after the child to the best of his ability. And probably his mother-in-law did exactly that with the amount of children that she had to do that with at the time. And we don't know if she's ever stopped. And now she's got to do it again, she feels, because of all those emotions that may have come to the surface. But we have to really be mindful that as much as he should absolutely be the one to say what happens with his daughter, that she has had a double loss, and she probably sees all of her daughter in her granddaughter.
Absolutely.
So everyone has to be really respectful of that.
The little girl looks like her mum. He did say that. Yeah. This is a hard one.
It's tough.
It's a real hard one, because I think you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, but communicate.
But I think communication absolutely is the key here. That they have to communicate, and they have to communicate on a higher level than what they've ever been used to doing.
Yeah.
I think.
Too much for one man to carry, man. There's too much weight to carry. Raise a child, a 2-year-old, which is hard enough, and then try to keep the peace.
Yeah.
It's too much. And then go and grieve at the same time. It's way too much.
Well, Theo has spoken from a man's perspective. I would say it's too much, but then we, as a woman, just get on with it.
Yeah, you're gonna get on with it, but eventually you're gonna break down. Something's gonna break down because it's too much. Because you're dealing with the loss of his childhood sweetheart.
That's someone that he's grown with as well. It's not like you met I met you a year and then I got married, and it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. But love is love, right? But it's your childhood sweetheart. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move on from this letter, because I think we've given as much of advice as we can. I'd love you to be able to come back and give us some feedback as to how you get on with your mother-in-law.
Yes,
and
please.
I wish you all the success. I wish you peace, joy, love. I wish you everything that's good. You've had it hard. So I just wish you the peace that surpasses all understanding. That's what I wish for you. And I hope that you are able to sort out this situation with your mother-in-law. I think it is one that can be sorted, and that you both get what you both need, and be able to move on. So we're going to move on to the next. Right, before we move on to the next, we're going to come in with the advert. So we're just going to shake this out a bit, because that's quite a heavy topic.
It is.
So let's put on an advert, and we'll be back after this. Welcome to the R Retreat, located at Northamptonshire's Whittlebury Hall complex, a 4-star hotel providing a luxury spa and golfing experience with the finest food and sports facilities. Absolutely everything that you could ask for to relax and recharge. But not only that, we have provided the best relationship and well-being speaker experts to empower you, to give you tools, tips and strategies of how to develop and grow your own relationships with self and with others. So come and recharge, re-energize, realign and rebuild. Book your place today at the R Retreat, Whittlebury Hall, Northamptonshire. This is the time for you and you alone to give back to you.
Offensive, the movie Fatherhood is just the same. The man's story.
Okay, we're back. So that was the advert for the R Retreat. Doesn't that look good? I'm very pleased with that piece of work, you know. Very, very pleased. If I say so myself. I'm patting myself on the back right about now with the R Retreat. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I'm so pleased with myself. I really am. And I will be pleased with all the speakers that come. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be having some speakers in the studio as well. Well, not speakers, but we're going to be interviewing and talking about relationships. And so as we move from that relationship, because relationships are across the board, there's relationships cover everything.
Everything.
So would you like to read out this next letter?
Okay. Shall I read out the heading? Shall I read out the heading first? I'm going to read out the heading first.
Yeah, read out the heading.
Women are too picky. It says, I feel so embarrassed, but I have no one I can share this with. I hope you and the panel can help me. I am a 54-year-old man. I have no children. Look at that already. That's a good start, isn't it? You have no children, no baby mother dramas.
No drama.
So that's a good start. I think I'm fairly good looking, average body type, 5'10", bald. Good job. I have a job and I play squash. Well used to. So that's a good start. Okay. Any woman for the takers? Any takers? No.
Look at
Michelle's like, yeah, all right.
Michelle's like, let me hear the rest first.
I've never had a real girlfriend. I live at home with my elderly parents. I have been a carer. Okay, I've always been a carer. Okay. I work hard. I look after my parents' house. I have savings and I drive. I'm the youngest of 3 boys. My brothers are married, but I'm quite shy and I have never been confident around women. Boy, you just sold yourself short there, man. sorry, my friend. I'm not emotionally watching. I'm sorry. I would like to meet a lovely lady to spend my life with, and I know you have lots of single ladies that come on your show. Over the lockdown, I've joined a few dating sites and started speaking to a few ladies, but I find that when I tell them I live at home, I don't hear from them again, or they call me a mummy's boy. That's not nice. Ladies are not nice enough. See, look, everyone's already saying that in a look.
It's you. Me. It's the way you're reading it.
I'm just reading it as how my brain's processing it.
You're making me laugh.
So, or when we start talking, they want a sex talk. It's very arousing, and I quite like that, to be honest, but lack experience in that department. I've never had a real girlfriend. Okay. Or they want to know how much money I have, which I think is a bit rude and picky. The truth is, I like living with my parents. I don't want to live alone. This suits me and it suits them until I find that one I can settle down with and marry and live a happy life with. My mum and dad are still in love, and that's got my mum's, and my dad's got my mum's back, and my mum's got my dad, and they're inseparable, and that's what I want for myself. Can you help me, Yvonne? I would like some tips on how to approach a woman online and in person. Why?
So men.
Started off well.
Stop saying that. Guys, me and Michelle, we're going to hold back a little bit. Let the men talk to the man. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let Kels
has come in. So Kels hasn't been speaking. So good evening, Kels. How you doing?
Wow. Yeah, guys, good. Blessings to you all. Yeah, hi guys. Great. Hi, Facebook family, YouTube family. Hi, everybody. Great. Yes, I've done. Is he a virgin?
No, because he's not experienced. He's not just.
Well,
Angela.
could
Yeah.
be.
Oh, he said he's not.
He said he's not
He
experienced,
said
but
he's
that
Wow.
could mean that. You know, hold on, let me put my glasses on so we can read him
read it
properly.
properly. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
He
dabbled.
says-
He's dabbled, man.
Well,
Wow.
there's nothing to say. He
Right.
said he feels so embarrassed, so I have no one to share this with.
Okay.
Hmm.
So,
I've never had a real girlfriend.
But it doesn't mean he's never had a lot of fun, you know.
we don't know.
Shuffle.
No, man, he's had some fun, man. He's had girls.
I don't know.
He's had girls, man. You lot
What-
giving a guy a hard time.
Michelle, let me just- does he sound like a virgin to you?
No,
He doesn't. He sounds like a
No.
virgin to me.
he
No.
sounds like someone that might have had a dabble once or twice, but not on a regular basis or a long term.
Dribble. He's so just.
A dabble, not a dribble, a dabble.
Sorry, cut out myself. All right, okay, dabble. All right, okay. All right, Theo, over to you. No, sorry, Kels,
Kels.
over to you.
Whoa, man. Whoa. Okay, the guy's 54 years old, yeah? He's 10
Yeah.
years senior. So I already feel that I'm not qualified to be giving a man that's 10 years my senior advice. I actually, when I got the brief that was in the inbox, I thought he was going to be maybe around my age or younger. I think him living at home and him wanted to stay with his family, and it's a beautiful thing. I think that's great. I know we spoke about African culture before, and that's very much African culture thing anyway. I think that could be accepted in some of the countries of Africa as they are now. Okay, it's very much kind of a home culture type thing. In the Caribbean, it's almost feels as though you know get come together and you then get back in. Yeah, and then Herbie wants to come back in, by the way. He got out. Anyway, I just read the message. But yeah, it's a thing where you get married and you have your own home and you take it from there. So I am often asked sometimes if I live on my own, and I gladly and proudly say yes. You know, and that is something that women are drawn to. Okay, so you living at home, unfortunately, it can be an ex, or it could be, you know, an away thing. I think the great thing that's in your advantage though is that they want to have sex talk with you. That's beautiful. Yeah, bro. Just don't tell them though that you live with your.
He's happy. Kels, you're happy.
Listen, man. You know, for women to actually just want to have that sex talk with you, bro, you're doing something right there. You obviously something's going on with the chemistry that they're happy to have that with you. It's just that when you say that you live at home with your parents, that's going to be the thing that's going to put them off. I have to also ask, you know, if you want your chances with the young lady and you do want to get married, then it might be a good idea to get that nest ready. You know, 'cause that's the thing to do. You know, get it prepared for that young lady to come in. Okay, so that's what I would first say. And you need to be, you need to show that you're able to live on your own and look after yourself. You know, especially if you invite them around for dinner. For more sex talk, you might even cook them a dinner. And you might do some more, like a lovely massage, you know. Might even put them in the shower, you know what I mean, and get them out and say, massage you afterwards. Look at yourself. I'm just talking from the point of view. I'm disgusted. Why look so disgusted for? I'm gonna want to hear from you afterwards, actually, Michelle. I'm sorry, yeah, Michelle. Right, it's definitely. I want to hear from you afterwards, right? Okay, but anyway, I think that if women are drawing to you that way, yeah, man, get your nest, bro. Get your nest together. Okay, and then you know if they drawn that way to you want to cook them a meal, bring them around, and take it from there. You get me? Get creative. Yeah, I think I was thinking that there might be more to this, but I think it's this simple. I think really you need to get yourself ready and prepared, you know, for this young lady to come into your house. And being at your mum's and dad's house, that's not gonna work.
Well, he does say that he would like some tips on how to do that. So you've given him the first tip.
Yes.
Get your own yard.
Get your own yard.
Okay.
Your own yard, and I want to see what Michelle says afterwards. I want to hear her response to what I've just said, because she looked disgusted when I said that, or like, what is he talking about? You know what I mean? So I want to hear what she's got to say afterwards. But yeah, right. So that's the first tip. Yeah, get your own yard. Get your own.
Okay. Thank you for that, Kels. Okay, Herbs. What say you?
Oh, I know what he's been doing for all these years, you know. It's like all over years, all over time. I don't know what he's been doing. That's a whole heap of time. And I'm thinking, he said he ain't confident around women, so I don't know who he's been around. He look like he sound like he's someone who maybe don't go out nowhere, just stay inside the house and just, you know, something. It's gonna be difficult for him, you know. Sorry, sir, but it's gonna be difficult for you. Because
You got a chance, man.
yeah, I don't know where you're gonna start, because any woman out there now, then first of all, they're not even gonna believe you. That, you know what I mean, that you're that age and you're not really had much experience with women, and you know what you need to do. You need to just hang around a couple of strong men and let them kind of help you out, because
His brother's got siblings, isn't it?
the woman are gonna kill you out there, man.
They're
Sorry.
married.
Can I just step in just very quickly, Herbie? Yeah, just very quickly, right? Because I'm with Theo here. Yeah, there's still a chance here. Come on, there's still a chance, and that chance is also built from what we're doing here, right? There are sites even on YouTube where he can also get some tips. Yeah, there's also like kind of these relationship coaches as well that you can actually get. Obviously here as well, but he can actually invest in himself in just knowing how to be around women. He can actually do that. So there is a chance for him to do that. There's some really great advice for him to actually do that, right? Also, when you say that, you know, it's a bit late for him and maybe get around enough man, then yeah, he can do that as well. But remember, he's having sex talk, bruv. Women want to have sex talk with him. Yeah? Listen, bruv, the guy's halfway there. You know what I'm saying?
No, listen.
Yes,
They
want to have sex talk with him.
He wants
to help him on how he can have this talk. You know what I'm saying? You know,
he wants a relationship, Kels, man. He doesn't want the sex. He wants a relationship.
That's right. You don't want the sex talk. You get the sex talk by phoning one of the text lines.
Oh, but he wants a relationship. He's looking at a
Yes,
relationship.
he wants a relationship, but the fact is that they're happy to even talk about that, right? Okay, so then he can bring it back in and say, listen, that's great, but in terms of relationship, this is what I would like to do. This is what I'd like to have. I'm just saying that it's the fact that he's getting women that actually are comfortable to actually do that. Because some women, I've maybe come across, they just want the whole nice, sweet gentleman type thing. You know what I'm saying? And you're obviously going to get various women, but it sounds as though he's getting those that actually want to talk to them that way. It looks as though he's got something going on, you know, for them to even want to gravitate towards him that way. But then he can then take control and say, "That's great, that's fantastic." But
not confident, Kels.
Yeah,
You know something, right? You know something, right? They think that he's a soft man, and they're probably a dominatrix woman out there, whatever, thinking about the sex talk. They want to take him and put their heel in his neck. That's what they want to do. Yeah, but they think, you know what I mean? That's the sex talk he's getting. You know, they don't. If you're saying that you want relationship, they shouldn't be starting off with no sex talk. He wants relationship. You know what I mean? And then they ask him for money and ask him stuff like that. No. He needs someone who can talk, and he needs to get to this thing slowly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he needs a slow one on this one.
I'm gonna give him advice in a minute. So I just wanted to hear what they had to say.
Okay. That's all right. Thank you for your advice. Yeah, I'll let you.
Lee, don't worry, Lee. I'm gonna give some advice. I'm listening to him. I want to hear what Michelle's got to say.
Come, Michelle.
As a woman, to see how she perceives it.
Right. Sir, whoever you are, do not listen to that at all. Please. Let me just start by this. Some women will be wary of a 54-year-old man that doesn't seem to have much of a past, because most people do, but not all women are that way. I think one of the things that you may need to do is not to just go for online dating and things like that, but get yourself some hobbies, things that you enjoy doing, so that you can become more outgoing and pursue things. And then you may meet people through that. So I would suggest that you do that. I would also suggest, if you've got savings and you said you like living with your parents, stay living with your parents. However, it's important for everyone to have their own front door. So what I would suggest is that you buy a place of your own and rent it out, so that when you do meet the right lady, you can evict your tenants and you've got your home ready to go. But it is different. I think psychologically for women, it is one thing to hear a man lives at home with his parents as opposed to the parents live with him. That's a different thing. So in your case, you're happy with living with your parents. So I would suggest try and invest that money in your own place, make it work for you. And then I think those women will feel that you're a little bit more forward thinking. With regard to the sex talk, I hope you're not as excited by it, but as Kels, because I'm not sure whether or not that is really what you want from a serious relationship. And you're saying you're looking for a relationship. Sex talk is going to be all right if that's what you're into with some people, but if that's the angle that they're going at, I don't necessarily think that that would be the right person for you in your circumstances. And also, I'm going to take from, it's important, we've always said that we should listen. And we were listening last week to Des, and he said advice for women was to talk to your good male friends about what you would like in a man. Mm-hmm. So I would suggest, taking that advice, that this person speaks either to female family members that he can trust and will be sympathetic to what he's saying, and ask them, or if he's got a couple of good female friends, ask them what they think he could do to improve his situation. In terms of his sexual experience, that will come when the right person comes along, if that's what you're really looking for. If you want to dabble a little bit and have some fun in the meantime, go ahead, safely, of course. But when that person comes along, if they really care about you, I don't think that they're really going to care about how much experience you've got, because you two will make your experiences together. So forget what them two boys have said over there, or the two gentlemen, should I say, and listen to me. Thanks.
Two boys.
Well, okay, yeah, I generally agree with Michelle. But what I am going to say to this young man is that he does mention about playing squash. He used to play squash, but we have been in lockdown anyway, so he's not going to be able to do that. And so I agree that he does need to find some outside activities. Now, squash is a 2 or 4 person game at most, and it's quite fast paced. So the likelihood that he's playing with a female is remote. I mean, that might be an assumption, but you know,
you can meet them at the squash club.
Yeah, so if you go to the squash club and you spend time there, and you then start to kind of get yourself out there. But he has said he's not confident.
With the confidence, when it comes to confidence in women, you have to be confident in yourself. So I don't know what he does for a living. He says he works.
That's all he says.
He does work. So the same when you're at work and you're confident what you're doing at work, it's the same mindset when you're going out.
It is.
It's about, so if you're going out, he's got brothers. He's got brothers who are married.
He's got 3 brothers, I think.
He's got brothers that are married. And I agree with Michelle as well about getting yourself out there, doing a hobby, doing things to build your confidence. So go into squash. Because you're comfortable in that arena. So you go to squash, and then you can sit down and talk to somebody about squash. And it's just a conversation. It's not like every time you speak to a female, it's about a relationship or just talk. Just talk. You go out, you have a drink, you're at the squash club or whatever, you're sitting down. How was your game? This, that. Maybe we can play a game tomorrow or whatever. You're just having a conversation. Don't have to be thinking, oh, she might be the one. It might not come to anything. It just might be your squash friend. And that's how your confidence. The more you speak to female, the more confident you get.
Yeah, confidence comes by doing.
Just speak.
It doesn't. You will never be confident by taking a pill or by someone speaking to you. Or confidence comes by doing. It comes by repetition. So when you do something, so you've got squash. You said that. I think that's the only thing you said that you do. So your squash is what you do. So hopefully now the squash courts are open. I'm assuming that they are. So I would say go to squash and take some time out. So you don't have to play, but you can go to the social area, sit down, buy yourself a drink, bring a book and just be. Just be. So you're not going there with the intention of doing anything other than being yourself. Because one thing I know about people or a lack of confidence is the fact that you're nervous, you're scared, your hands are sweaty, your mouth is clammy, you don't know what you're going to say. So my thing is to just be, take a book, just be, and just chill. Do that for the first day. Don't even look to speak to nobody. The second time you do it, what I want you to do is start to give eye contact with whoever's in there. So if it's a man, give eye contact, so kind of like it's not a woman in it, so you're not going to feel as put out. So you look at the man, you look away, and then the next woman that walks in, you do exactly the same thing. And then the next time you go, then you're not going to do anything other than say hello, because each time you do that, you're going to build up your confidence. Confidence comes by doing. That's right. That's it. Doing and doing and doing and doing. Repetition is what makes you do things well. If you when you're a child, you start writing, look at how it starts. It's squiggly, it's not legible, but the more you practice, the more you do the same thing over and over again, is the more confident, the better you are at doing it. So that's my advice to you first and foremost. In terms of Kel's advice with the sex talk. So let me just be open with you here. In my opinion, it's okay to have sex talk if that's what you want. And if you want to build up your confidence, if you want to build up your rapport making skills, if you want to learn how to get into rapport, then continue to do that. And if you do go one step further and you do actually have it becomes real, so it's not just talk and you're actually in action and you're doing it, please be safe, put a bag on it, look after yourself. More often than not, and I'm not saying every woman, but more often than not, when you are exchanging conversations like that, that's what the relationship is about. It's about sex. Yeah,
that's it.
And so if you want a relationship based on sex, then go for that. If you want to get more experience, because you say you're not experienced and maybe you might feel that you might want to, I don't know, the men will let us know here if that's a thing, that how men think. I don't know if you think that if you get experience, that when the one comes you'll be ready.
Some guys think like that.
Okay.
Some guys think like that.
Right. So if
you tend to think like that when you're younger.
Right, but he's 54.
But he's 54, but he's still young in terms of relationships.
Listen.
So the age he's just 54 in age, but in terms of relationships and sex, he's not 54.
Listen.
He's young. 15, 16.
Listen to me, ladies.
He's a young man.
Let me tell you something.
You got a canvas.
This is a canvas. I agree.
Yvonne, it's honestly, it's an art
of nothingness. That means that there's a holy somethingness there.
And as Michelle said, there's no history.
Hopefully.
Baggage.
This must be a virile man.
There's no baggage, no history. And you see the thing about living at home and everybody making a big thing about this man. So what? So what? He lives at home with his parents. So what? Why should he move out just to be by himself? Why?
Well, he says he doesn't want to be a
I
wife.
don't. I would. Why? Why?
Yeah.
Just to prove a point that he can live by himself. So what? He
But
lives
I
at-
said that though, Theo.
Stay at home. So what?
Stay at home.
No, that's the bad thing with our culture, Caribbean culture.
Mm.
We kick our kids out too quick.
Yeah.
And we kick them out too quick and expect them to then buy a house, do all these other cultures, Europeans. You see, Italian man doesn't leave his house until he's married.
Yeah.
But
I
we,
agree with you.
as soon as our kids reach 18,
No, sir.
me, I'm waiting for my 2 young boys to reach 18 so they can do the CM thing, yeah. But that's what we do. We
No.
kick them out.
Yeah.
We kick them out
Yeah,
too
we-
quick, and then so they reach 54. Also, and you're still living at home with your parents. Oh, you're a mummy's boy. Why? Why am I mummy's boy? I got my own money. I go to work. I do my own thing. I'm looking after my parents. They're elderly, and all of a sudden, I'm a mummy's boy.
Mhm.
I'm a
But
good.
Theo, this is the thing, right? I said if he's got all this money in the bank, then he should invest it in a place for himself. He doesn't have to move out at all.
But he doesn't have to.
Why-
I don't agree with that either.
The
I
thing is,
do,
right?
because for me,
Because there's other investments that he can invest in.
Yeah.
that there is. But what I'm saying is,
Earn than a mortgage. A mortgage
Pardon?
can be a noose around it. He's 54, you know. That
Yeah.
mortgage that's going to be a big noose around his neck.
no, it
and
isn't. Not at all.
Yeah.
Because remember, if he's going to stay at home, I'm not saying to move out. I'm saying stay at home, but use that money, put it in a property and rent the property out. Make more money out of the property. Then it's not a noose around your neck.
Money
Then
for what?
you've got something if you want it. That's
But
that's what I would do.
The
He's got
thing,
no children. He's got nothing. What's he just having money for? Just to have
Well, he's got it.
25
Yeah.
years
I
with that
think he
mortgage
could-
at 54.
Yeah, I reckon he could find something to invest.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have a mortgage for 50. You wouldn't have a mortgage for 25 years, would you?
Huh?
You
He's-
wouldn't have a mortgage for 25 years.
If he gets a place now at 54,
hmm
the mortgage is going to be up until he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
Still paying this mortgage.
No, it isn't.
Unless he's got a big amount of money to put into the house. And he
Right.
may be more beneficial finding something else to invest his money in than a mortgage that will bring him a bigger return quicker. That's
Yeah,
my opinion. Because he's
Yeah,
54.
I'm just saying that is a way of doing it.
He doesn't need it.
but
because
the thing is,
remember, he's only dealing with himself. He's got no children. He's just him. He doesn't have to have a house and extra income coming in because he hasn't. Who's he going to leave the money to? He's got no children. He's got no offsprings. It's just him and his two.
He might.
He might, but at the time,
Might
now,
be a young lady that wants to have
now-
kids. He might want to have
moment-
kids.
at the moment, he's not in that position.
Yeah.
and to tell the truth, right?
40s.
His parents' house is probably his house. Yeah,
Exactly.
so that's his house.
That's
So
his
probably
house.
the parents could be elderly. If he's 54, he's got older brothers and sisters. Yeah, their parents could be all elderly, all 90s. So he's thinking, why am I buying a house when there's a house here for me? You know what I mean?
Unnecessary
And
investment.
we don't know what arrangement he's got in the house, because the thing is, at the end of the day, the parents could be one side of the house, he's next side of the house, and although he's in the same house,
He's
doing his
caring.
own thing. You know what I mean? It's a sharing house. You know.
Yeah,
He's caring for them. I'm
He's
just
caring
saying
for
that
them.
that's an option for him to do. You're not talking about doing it for a long-term thing for him to live in necessarily, but that's something that he could do.
But
Because
why would he be doing it? So he can get a partner? Why would he be doing it? What's the purpose of it?
he said, according to what I recall, he said that he's when he speaks to women, they've got an issue with him living at home.
Mhm.
And what I'm saying, as a woman, I know personally that I would prefer a man to have a key to his own front door, whether it's he owns it or whether he rents it. But in this situation, he's living with elderly parents that he's caring for. So he can change his option if he really thinks that that's an issue by getting himself a property that he rents out. So it's paying for itself. He doesn't have to keep it forever, but it's an option if he feels that that's an issue, because it's something that he's raised. We have to get away from thinking about 25-year mortgages for us to live in. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about how he sees himself and how he feels other people see himself. That's what I'm talking about.
He's not, I don't think he's going to
relationship. I'm a
He's
bit
not going to stop. He's not going to stop caring for his parents, you know. I don't think he's going to stop caring for his parents. So whether he's in next door or what house up the road, he's going to still be caring for his parents. I don't think.
Yeah, but you're not listening to what I'm saying, Herbie. I didn't say for him to move out.
So why we get? So I'm just going to ask the question again. You said get his own door key, even if he's not living there. So then it doesn't make any sense because he's still living at his parents' house. So he's going to still say to them, "I live with my parents, but I have my house down the road." What difference does it make if someone's living in that house down the road and I'm here? I'm still living here with my parents. It doesn't change the dynamics of who I am. Just having my own property, I have my own property. All that means to you is, oh, he's got money. I've got money. I'm still living at home.
He can have £500,000 inside the bank. We don't know. Yeah.
I think what I'm talking about is not so much it's what he's saying, isn't it? This is how he perceives himself, or this is what he's reported. And I'm just saying, to make a different perception of himself, I know that for me, if I was talking to someone that's 54 years old, that's got no children, good looking, 5'10", got a job and what have you, and he's living at home with his parents because he's caring for them, it's not just that he's caring for them. He seems to be the last one that was left at home because the other two have gone on. What are you doing for yourself? You're not playing squash anymore. That's most probably because of COVID. But what do you do for yourself? What are you into? Where's your forward thinking? You know, God forbid that his parents pass on, but by natural law, they should pass on before him. Where is his projection in life? If you're a single woman looking to get with a guy and make a life, you want to see that he's a little bit forward thinking. That's what I'm saying.
But we don't know that.
Well,
we don't.
Yeah, but I'm just going off what he said.
What he has said. I think a part of what you said is valid in terms of what is his thinking, where is he going, what are his plans. But I am not into the mindset of he should buy a place. I'm not a 54. Nah. If I met him and as a person, as a single man now, and he was telling me the story, one of the first questions I'd ask him is, one of the things my mind would say to me is, you haven't always been a carer, because your parents are elderly now and they weren't always elderly. So what is it? Why have you stayed at home? I'd want to know why he stayed at home and why that's the choice that he makes. And it's up to him to say what the choice is. But I'd want to know what made you stay at home. And your other siblings have left home and you've been left. So what was it that made you stay at home? Because that will give an indication as to his mindset. Before the mortgage, all of that stuff, just where he's at, where's he going, what's he doing, what's he thinking? Yes, as a 54-year-old man. But he says quite clearly here, he's got money in the bank. So that means that for me, he's saying he's financially stable. He has a job, he's got savings. He's financially safe, he's financially stable, which is fair enough, and that's fine. You don't have to have a mortgage. My thing is, do your parents own their home? Yes or no? Mind you, it's not none of my business. Because at the end of the day, if he meets that woman at 54, they're going to work out their living arrangements. If she's on him and likes him enough, and he's not looking at him for what he's got, but more for the person that he is, they're going to build a life together. They'll find a way of building that life together. And if they decide to get a mortgage, they decide to get a mortgage. If they don't, if they decide to travel the world, then that's what they decide to do. But that could be at 54, because, he's not that far away from retirement, really. And if he's been living at home, he should have a bag of money.
He's got no children.
He should. He should. And I'm not saying it because coming from a materialistic perspective. And can I just say something to what Herbie said? He lives at home, yes, and maybe his parents have got their own place, but let's not forget he's got 2 siblings. It does not mean that property is going to him. He could end up out of doors. So we can't assume that either. I'm just saying, basically, more or less what Yvonne Michelle is saying. where is your progression? What are you doing for you? You have dedicated your life to your parents, but you still have to have some sort of life for yourself. And that's what I'm looking at. If he's saying that people are stepping back from him for that reason, it could be that they're shallow, but if he wants to do something about it, he's asking for advice. You don't have to go and take out no 25-year mortgage. You've got mortgage money in the bank, but you can make your money work for you somehow. So that's why I'm suggesting it.
I don't think money is the issue here. I think the issue really with him is his confidence. That's the only thing that I've got out of that letter is his confidence. The fact he lives at home. If a woman don't like you because you live at home, then she's not the one for you.
He might live at home because he's not confident.
That's most probably that too.
You know, that might be a reason why he lives at home.
He's not confident. That's what I got out of the letter. He's not a confident man. He's shy.
Yeah.
He says it himself. He says he's shy.
Yeah.
He's a shy person. And he's just his confidence. But he's comfortable mostly at work when he's playing squash. And those are the areas he needs to stay in and speak to people. And as he said, build up his confidence over time.
Yeah.
Maybe he should arrange a squash tournament then.
Maybe. Or just go to the squash club. Just hang out at the squash club.
Yeah, and take baby steps.
Take your time and speak
baby
to people.
steps. Because it depends on how his confidence is, because he you know, confidence is what I call confident, somebody else wouldn't call confident.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's relative. So I think that, you know, he's got to start where he's at. Yeah. And that's why I've said, right, we're going to go to basics, go to where you're going, sit down, read a book. And then the next time, eye contact, practice that. The next time, then you say hello, and you say hello to everybody that walks through the door. But you're just practicing to say hello, hello, skin, how you feel, what it gives to you. And that's what I think he needs to do. And then upgrade. And it might take a little bit of time, but it's slowly, he's got to feel confident within himself. Now, he does say on here, I said he's not confident, but in bright though, because he said there's some lovely ladies that come on the show, right? So he's talking about the panel members, because he doesn't see the Facebook group or the YouTube group. He doesn't see their faces when they're writing. So he's talking about the women on the panel.
Michelle.
Right. That's my ears did prick up when I hear that. I said, okay.
Can I just say, I am not interested in his money.
That's all right, man. That's all right. Just give him the sex talk. It'll be all right. He'll like that.
If that's what he's after, keep moving right along. Sorry.
Patrick Solomon says, if I'm Michelle, he's looking for a single and caring ladies on that group. Step up. Come on, ladies on the group, step up. Yeah. Patrick Solomon is telling you, ladies.
Yeah, you just need to, young man, you just need to get confident in yourself. Believe in yourself. Absolutely. That's the most important thing. You're the one that, the minute you start believing and trust and thinking yourself great, then you'll be great. You'll find women, because you obviously have no problem getting women because they're talking to you.
Yeah, can I add to what you're saying?
They're talking to you, so you're doing something.
Online, they're talking. Yeah, I think it's online, they're talking.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's having sex talk.
You're getting a talk.
So you're practicing. So you've been having sex talk. Kels, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just really quickly. I actually agree with Theo and yourself in terms of the confidence part. I was even thinking like what line of job, because sometimes if he's working from home or IT, some certain jobs that you do, you pretty much could be on your own. Or as you said, you might be actually comfortable with his surroundings, but there is definitely a social skill that's missing here, because it is all social or interpersonal skills. So if you're saying it needs to start from there, then so be it, because now we're going to have a proper conversation, of, as you said, about his confidence. And just to clarify, when I talk about the whole sex talk thing, depending on how, no, let's be serious, because some people gravitate towards physical touch, and sometimes that's the energy that they want to talk about that. For some people, that's important to them. So let's not discard that. Let's be a bit more adult about this. Some people do want to talk about the area. To what degree, we don't know, but that's important to some people, right? So if, for they might be having just a nice general talk, and it just may go that way. And it might be enjoyed between him and the other lady in terms of having that kind of talk, to whatever degree it is. okay, and in how they actually might go about it, right? I don't know why people are frowning their faces or frowning their heads. We don't know how that conversation may have come about.
The problem he's having with that conversation, he hasn't got any experience, so he can't talk in that area. He doesn't know what to say.
With you.
So that's the problem.
I totally agree with that. What I'm saying here is that there is advice that can be given, not just from the panel. There are obviously other means of him actually knowing how to even have conversations like that, to where it can now be conducted to where he wants to go in a conversation like that. Because if it's coming to him, it's coming to him, you know. Because as I said to you, is that it's the way how that conversation may have actually begun or started, and I don't think we should just say, well, let's just leave that, let's just excuse it. You know what I mean? When maybe he might even like the person. It's just that when it came to that area, as you said, Theo, maybe he didn't know how to even talk about it. And,
Yvonne, can you read that bit again, please?
I was just about to do that.
Thank
Just
you.
put my glasses on. And I started smirking when I read it. He said, okay, I'm going to go a little bit further back. He says, over the lockdown, I've joined a few dating sites and started speaking to a few ladies, but I find that when I tell them I live at home, I don't hear from them again, or they call me a mummy's boy. Or when I start talking, they want sex talk. It's very arousing, and I quite like that, if I'm honest. But lack experience in that department. I never had a real girlfriend. I've never had a real girlfriend. And that is what he said. Or they want to know how much money I have, which I think is a bit rude and picky. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. So I think that in terms of the sex talk, the thing is, confidence comes by doing, right? Practice. Yeah. So if he is having sex talk and he's enjoying it, because he finds it quite arousing, and he probably likes how he's feeling. Come on now, he's a human. He said, come round when mommy and daddy are sleeping.
Come round, man. Come show me what you say. Come show me what you say.
Show it to me. But on a serious note, if that's what's happening and he's enjoying that moment, then he's a grown man. He's 54 years old. If he's enjoying it and he's liking what he's doing, then I'm saying continue. If he takes it further, then protect himself. But if he's not, and it's just sex talk, because he will learn. Mm-hmm. He will learn. And that's the reason why I'm saying it. He will learn, and he will grow in confidence in talking about his sexual pleasures that he may or may not want to indulge in. Because if he has no confidence and he has no experience, when the conversation does come up, he's going to be all over the place. So you know what? Take it makes sense. All the time people say make sense. Nonsense. Yes, that's what they say. And so I would say in this particular case, there's nothing wrong. You're grown. Make sense out of nonsense. Make sense out of nonsense.
You can go to hotels now because you don't have to bring them to his parents' house.
Yeah,
hotels are open now.
Book a hotel.
You can come with was it
Whittlebury Hall? That was the next thing. What I want to do is I want to invite you.
Oh Lord! Oh yes. Give my golden ticket.
Innit?
There's no golden ticket.
I think it depends on what kind of relationship he really wants.
I just think he just wants some. At the moment, I just think he just
wants some action.
I think he needs to start interacting and building his confidence in himself as a man. Because one of the things that is more attractive than money, having your own home, and all of those things that we want as women, when you meet a confident man, you kind of like to start saying, okay, I'm gonna see where this goes, because you're having confidence, you're talking, the intellect is there, and so that's when you can start to build. A man can have money, can have a mortgage, you can have it, and have no personality, no confidence, and you'd be like, see you later, bye. Confidence means a lot, and it's a big commodity.
Big thing
in a relationship. It's a big commodity, and sometimes we underestimate just how big a commodity confidence is.
Can I tell you how it works? A lot of women fall for players, innit, and dogs. Why do they fall for those guys? Because they've got the chat, they've got the confidence, the bravado, they bring it, and you just fall for it. You don't have nothing going for him, but you just come in there full of swagger, everything, and you're just like,
But you see, the thing is, the difference with this man. The difference with this man is he's got all the other stuff.
Yeah, but he
just doesn't have the
that,
confidence. If he builds that confidence
then
up,
he's the man.
he's going to be a very attractive
He's the man.
to a lot of women.
A lot of women fall for what you're talking about, Theo, in the past, maybe. I don't know. You know, for me, not now. But I think quiet confidence is really important in somebody, not overconfidence. So if he's taking notes, quiet confidence is a lovely thing. Yes, do go and practice as much as you like, but just know that not every woman out there is going to want to have to lead you to a sex talk. They want to talk about other things, your interests, your passions, your dreams, your desires, your goals, way before they get to that. Because if you do get into a solid relationship, the sex thing will come. So that's just my point of view.
Okay, all right. I think just really quickly, yeah. We just get down to the root of it. I think, Theo, you cracked it, and Yvonne. This is about him really expanding himself as a person, stretching himself, just being a better person, being a confident person. It starts with that. It first begins there before even it's that relationship within yourself, with yourself. That needs to be built before even thinking about anything outside of you. So I think conversation has gone actually maybe a bit out, and then we actually really expected it. It's not just about relationship with a woman. It's really himself.
Yeah,
absolutely. So if it's himself, then he can then look at the other factors after that, which is important to him. But it's first got to start with him. So I'm totally with what you two have said there. I wouldn't.
He's doing a good job though. He's getting women are chatting to him.
The women are chatting to him, and then I ask him questions. Am I engaged in sex talk? You're doing better than me, friend.
Yeah, man, go on.
Well, it's the truth. He's doing better than I don't have it. I shut that down. No, sir. You got me covered.
Sorry, Yvonne.
About that?
Yvonne. Yvonne.
Yes, sir.
Did he say that the woman was too picky? I didn't understand his point when he said they're picky. Why are they picky?
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think he just feels that there's always something, and he's maybe not feeling good enough. I don't know. Because he makes a point of saying that he's all these things. So I'm 54-year-old man, I have no children. I am fairly good looking, average body type, 5'10", bald, have a job, play squash, well, I used to, blah, blah, blah. So he's kind of picked out all the things that are good about him. And then later on, he's saying, you know, they say
it's the money bit that he says that they're picky about.
Yeah, picky.
Oh, they want to know how much money I have, which I think is a bit rude and picky.
All right.
So they want to know how much money he's got.
So I don't know
if they're asking that, or they're calling him a mummy's boy or anything. He just needs to whatever they do, swipe left or just delete.
Next.
Yeah, just next, because that's a shallow person. They don't want to really know about him. They want to know about what he's got and what they can. Nah, he needs to just move on. He can practice on those ones, but then he can move on because he does need practice.
He needs practice. He needs lots of
practice. But certainly, if he was looking for what I would say, for want of a better word, a decent young lady in a decent relationship, she's not going to be interested in that. She's going to be interested in his core. Yeah. And it sounds to me like he's a caring person. He's staying there and he's sacrificing his life for his family, for his parents. Yeah. So that's more the essence of the man.
He's either caring or he's lazy. He's one of the two, isn't it, really?
Why is he lazy?
Because he could be.
Why?
He could be. I'm just throwing it out there now.
The man goes to work. He does what? Plays squash.
He's 54, and he's always lived, well, he doesn't say he's always lived at home, so I'm assuming that he's always lived at home. So like I said, my question would be, what was you doing all these years?
Working. You know what? We don't actually know what this man does.
We don't.
He could be a CEO of a big company.
We don't know.
Yeah. He could have been building along the way. So we don't actually know what he does. So
he said he takes care of his parents' home.
Yeah, he takes care of his parents when he goes home, but we don't know what he's been doing for the last 20, 30 years. He could be a big businessman doing whatever, and that's taken up his time. Now he's raised his head up. He's like, I'm 54. What's going on? I haven't got no girl, nothing. You know, lockdown has made him realize it's not about work. Because some people just work hard, solid, and not really take anything on board.
And-
He's been at home for a year and a half now. He's like, hold on,
I could have a nice lady in my life.
I've got all this money. What can I do? I can't do anything. I'm by myself. My parents are getting old.
We're in lockdown.
We're in lockdown.
And I can't even go and see nobody because we're not allowed.
I can't play squash, but what I used to have fun with, and whatever. Maybe he had a little friend that he might have. I don't think he had a little friend. It don't sound like he had a little friend.
Hannah and her five.
Yeah, I think you should have.
I think he maybe got a bit tired of Hannah and his five.
That Lolly said a very good thing here that should maybe come up. She just simply said he needs to build friendships with a few women.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
Kels, can you read out the one that Lolly put up before? It's quite a big bit.
Hang on.
I don't know what. Okay.
So
Yes, I agree with the one. You reading it?
Yeah. No, I want you to read it out because
Yes, I agree with Yvonne. I don't think I'd date a man that still lives at home. Does he have experience of living with a woman or family? Has he been looked after in the home by his parents? Money isn't anything to do with it, but I suppose if the attraction was there, who really knows if I'd go there? That's what she said there.
Okay, thank you for reading that out.
Yeah, but then after that, she said something very important, which is he needs to build friendships with a few women. He just needs to just literally
tell them anyone had money.
Exactly. I wouldn't tell anyone, but that's what I said. He needs to get into social groups, not necessarily meeting women groups, but social groups where he can meet lots of people, and he might find that he has other interests.
Yeah,
you don't know until you try. He could instead of trying Tinder or whatever it is, he could try Meetup, which you can actually go to a social thing, an art thing, whatever it is.
Even to a retreat, in October.
To the retreat. That's right.
That's right. No, seriously.
It's true, as Michelle was saying, he needs some more social gathering sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think lockdown has made him realize that. I think that's what's happened, because before that, people kind of get into a mode, innit? We go work, we go home, just go on day in, day out, weekend, maybe go to the odd party and go home. Now you've been at home, you realize my life is empty. I ain't got nothing going on for myself.
I don't have any friends.
Not have much.
No one's come to check me. No one's calling me. So I'm on the dating site. It could be any of those reasons. I think definitely go out there and start meeting people. But I would say, think about what the place that you would feel the most comfortable. Right? Think about that place, go there and go there repetitively. Do it over and over again until you feel that you have the confidence and that you can speak to everybody that walks in. And then you can go on to the next one.
That's why he's looking at the After Dark group, looking for a caring
lady.
Yeah.
See, the group is wonderful. See that side eye? The group.
Hello.
And I think the retreat would teach him a lot about women and relationships. We've got some great male speakers coming to do some workshops. So it's going to be very, very interactive. So that would be really beneficial for him. We've also got some women who are going to be speaking as well. And I am looking, I still haven't booked a sex therapist yet, but there will be one at the retreat, and we're going to have some panel talks and discussions. So it's going to be quite an open kind of retreat. It's going to be a safe space for people to really be open. And even though I know the majority, there's going to be lots of single women there. I'm just going to say that there's going to be lots of
Kels, take the smile off your face, Kels.
Women there. So if you are a man and you are serious about finding somebody, and I use that, I'm talking seriously now. If you're serious about changing your life, about meeting that person, if you are open, if you are willing for that to happen for you, because you've got to be in a state of mind that you're willing for this to happen. You've got to have the mindset and go out and say, right, I'm going to talk to somebody today. I'm going to have a conversation today. If that is you and you are a male, I'm going to invite you to come on our retreat, because it is going to be the single man's paradise. I'm just saying, it is. because the women who gravitate to this show are decent and respectable women.
Lolly ain't playing.
Listen, me, I look a man at the retreat. That wasn't me. I was reading it.
Yes.
Lolly Bailey says, listen, me, I look a man at the retreat, big eyes and a smiley face. Right? Listen, you've got to put it out there. You have not because you ask not.
That's right.
Right?
That's
So
right.
now is the time to ask. And I'll say this because of this. Where was I the other day? I was out somewhere and I said I went to a barbecue. And before I went to the barbecue, I said to myself, I said, self, today you're going to have a great conversation with a very nice man. Right? I've never said that to myself before. And myself agreed with me. So off I went. I looked very lovely. I went to the barbecue and I don't like to walk into places on my own. As much as I do all of this, I'm quite a shy person, right? That is the introvert in me, right? There's an introvert side of me. And so I called my friend and I said to her, I'm outside. She's all right, babe, come out. She came out, went in the garden and I sat down and I was nervous because I was in an environment where I didn't really know many people.
That's good.
But I sat there and I knew one person. So I went and I sat and I was talking. And then the next thing, this gentleman came over and he said, hello. And I said, good evening. And then he was talking to everybody else. But I could see that he kept looking. Somebody just looked at him in the eye, right in his eye. Look at him right. Listen to me, ladies. You want to give me the eye corner, right? And I looked at him and we engaged in a conversation. And I was asked, I was like, I was interviewing really. I thought to myself, if I'm just be you, just do what you do.
Yeah.
So we had this conversation and he was telling me how he's retiring. He's telling me how he's looking for a young lady to take on an experience with him. I said, what kind of experience you want to take this woman on? And he said he wants to travel and all of these. It was a lovely, lovely conversation. At the end of the night, I said, it was really nice talking to you. Good night. And he said, you're not going to give me your number. I said, you didn't ask. You don't ask, you don't get. And off I went. Ciao.
So you never give the man your number?
No, I didn't.
But you asked
No, you see. No, hold on. Let me finish the story now. Let me finish the story.
Go on.
Now, you see, as a woman, I like to be chased. It's not about giving things over too easy.
Okay.
If you want me,
You have to come find me.
you have to come and find me.
Does he know your name, by the way?
He does know my
Okay.
name, and he knows exactly how to get in contact with me.
Okay.
So if he is interested enough, then he will make the move.
I think your phone's pinging.
It's not
I
my
think your
phone.
phone's pinging.
All right. This is just to say, I'm not saying that that's the right way. I'm not saying it's
That's
wrong
the right way.
I'm saying
That's
that
the
this
right
is
way.
my way. So
That's
if
the
you
right
want
way.
me,
Come
as
chase me.
because Miss a decent somebody.
Well, he spent most of the night talking to you, so yeah, you must
he did.
obviously like it. You
Yeah.
see?
But if he did ask you, you would have get him, yeah?
If he
Your phone
asked,
number.
if he asked me, I probably would have given him my number. If he asked me, but he didn't ask me. He said, "Aren't you going to give me your number?"
He was expecting it.
Yeah. You? No, Gossa.
If you come right for this.
If you expect something from you, now get nothing.
Yeah,
So,
he's watching. Don't worry about it. He's watching.
He probably is.
If you go in the private chat, you might check the DM. Right, DM you somewhere.
But that's how it is, and that's because, as a woman, and this is for this 54-year-old man, as a woman, most women, not all, but most women like to feel like they are attractive and that the man wants them.
That's right.
You know, what was it that Fidel said? He said, women, I can't remember what he said.
Like to be desired.
Desired.
That's right.
A man wants to be required, and a woman likes to be desired.
That's
so
right.
that's all part of the chase. Thanks for that, Kels. That's all part of the chase. And you know, I like to be chased.
I think most women like to be chased. They like to be desired. They like to think that this man's focusing on me.
Yeah.
I am the apple of the eye. And all
That's
that
right.
Stuff. So,
that is it.
Yeah, man.
And if you're not chasing me, I'm not interested.
Young man, if you're watching, chase her.
Oh.
Chase her. Because obviously she like you because she's looking at your eye corner. She
That's
said.
right.
Aye.
She looked right in her eye. That means there was an
did.
attraction there.
I did. I mean, I've been having conversations. This is a side note. Because of something that Des said last week about women when they're out in a crowd with their friends, they go to the toilet together, they go to the bar together, and that man doesn't get the opportunity.
That's right.
to speak.
Yeah.
So, and then I think a friend of mine sent me a video of something similar afterwards. That was something was showing that the woman clocked the man. She looked at the man. He looked at her. So they saw each other looking at each other, and she went and sat over on a chair, and she looked back at him and sat down, and she waited. And as she waited, he came and he sat down.
Because he had opportunity.
He had the opportunity. And sometimes that's what it is. So my friend, my 54-year-old friend, once you've started to practice and you feel confident, these are the things, these are the tools, these are the tips that you're going to have to do. And you're going to have to learn this. Women like to be chased.
Yes.
And you've got to be so bold, so brave, so brilliant in yourself. Yeah. Know yourself. To thine own self be true. Know yourself and then present yourself. If she is not interested, make her go about her business, because there's another one coming.
7-1, apparently, my friend.
So them say somebody said it was 9-1. You know,
Most probably 9-1 by now. So if she just moves, just tell her to move on, man. Thank you.
but you know that might be in it. Or just, you know what, simply just go to Africa, or go to the Caribbean, or go to come to Luton. There's plenty of nice single women there that would entertain you, I'm sure.
Yes, there would be. Yes.
If you'll come with the right sense. Don't come with the sex talk. Don't do that to yourself. You will mess yourself up.
Yeah. Just be yourself, man. Man, just be yourself. Just be you. Don't try and overthink and be somebody else. And I like that. Just be you. Just be you. People like you for you. If you try to be somebody else, you're gonna fall down, because you can't keep up the voice, you can't keep up the pretense. The mask will fall down. And it's the same for women when they put on this, oh, I'm so nice, I'm so good. And then 2 minutes later or a week later, they've forgotten. Just be yourself, man. Just be yourself.
Absolutely.
People would like you or they don't like you. Such is life.
Yeah, but go to fun things.
Yeah.
That he's got things to talk about.
Yes.
You know, so that he's got things to talk about.
You see what Patrick Sullivan said? Married men, make sure you wear your wedding ring at the retreat.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna wear one of those. You know when you go I'm gonna wear like a bib. Got a placard on it.
The band that go across.
A band, you know what I mean?
Proud, married and proud. Yeah. So I just should say that this retreat,
and it's put on the back end there that my wife is watching.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and the family too. Oh, okay. So just to say that the retreat is a relationship retreat, and we are it will be a lot, there will be a lot of stuff for single people, but there will be a lot of things there for the married ones, those who are in relationships too. Yes, there going to be some nice workshops for you, tantra and all kinds of lovely things.
Massages. That's all right. Then.
Lots of lovely things for you to indulge in, as well as as married or couples or whatever it is that you are. So we are trying to give something for everybody, so everybody gets something out of it. But I am saying, if you are single, this is the retreat for you. You will get so much gold out of this retreat. And I'm going to openly say to this young man, I'm going to invite you to join us at the retreat. You do not have to say who you are, but you can come to the retreat and you can start to mingle and talk to people. You know my face.
And
you know
Michelle's
face.
I'll give you some tips.
Don't
You know,
come with don't walk in with the spot racket.
Come to me, I give you some tips, man. I give you some tips.
Yeah.
Me as well, man. Chat to me. Come chat to your young brother. You hear me? So it's all right, okay.
I come and give you some tips on how to speak to some young ladies.
Yes, and
yes, Lolly.
presenting on the day.
Lolly.
Our MC on the day.
Anything else other than Lolly?
Theo's going to be running the show, so it's going to be absolutely incredible. So you'll recognize one person.
Yeah,
You'll recognize Kels. You'll recognize Herbie as well. and you will recognize, as I have said a few times, that you will recognize Michelle as
Oh, you'll
well.
recognize.
Yes,
No, she'll look
yes.
completely different.
She will. She have an ear down the ear down the side.
This
The
side
hair will
and
be on the
up.
other side.
Yeah.
Let it flow, let it flow. Listen, guys, I hope, is there anyone, do you have any other advice for our 54-year-old friend?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go out, do things that you enjoy. Go by yourself sometimes. Go to the theatre. Go to comedy shows. You'll meet women there. Have a little conversation with them about what they saw, what did they enjoy, all that kind of thing, and just do some practice. But get out and get on with it. And I'm sure that he will meet a lovely lady.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, that's the energy that we're putting forward.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Herbie?
No, I'm just saying that's true. Just do that. Just go out and socialize. Really, just mingle.
Fantastic. Kels, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say I've gained a lot by watching, the After Dark. Especially last week was just fantastic. I go watch that again, and obviously since last year that we've been doing this, so just watch a lot of these programs. Was it Lolly was saying about watch a lot of rom-coms and then get back to us? She put that in the feed. And then, just socialize, man. Just socialize. Just go out and meet people, speak to people, build up your confidence. That's what it's really about. It seems like it's a self-esteem thing as well. Build up that positive ego, and then come to the retreat. Yeah, we'll chat to you some more. Just say, it was me that said, okay. You know what I mean? And we'll chat to you. You know what I mean? You are a brother. You are our brother, older or younger. You're a brother. We embrace you. We take you in. And let's just meet. So it's great. I think it's been fantastic. Definitely with what Theo and anyone's saying, resonate with that. Also resonate with what Michelle said. Herbie, resonate, or even what's in the feed. Brilliant. We just want to meet you. Did I just do that?
You did. You blew a kiss.
That was for Lolly.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Theo,
He's a confident man.
Got any questions?
Just get out, my brother. Just get out. Go mingle. Speak to people. Speak to your next door neighbors. Just talk to people. The more you talk, the more confident you get. And just be yourself. Don't be anybody else. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't put on a voice, or just be yourself. Hey. Just relax and just be yourself. And don't overthink it. Don't overthink it.
And certainly don't put on a voice.
Hey, how you doing?
And hello and all that.
Be like,
don't
hello.
Yeah.
Hey, my name's Clark.
We're not gonna run it. We're not gonna run out of women. There's not a shortage at the moment. So
don't worry about it. You never run out of women, man. 9 to 1. That's a lot, man. Damn.
Yeah. So guys, I want to thank you because we have come to the end of the show, and I want to thank you for tonight's show. I feel quite positive about the advice that we've been able to give tonight. And I want to thank those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube for joining us and joining in with the comments. You guys make the show. So, we need you to support the show a bit more. We need you to send this out, share it with your friends, share it with your family. You can see what we're trying to do. This is an adult relationship show. I don't think there's a show like this.
There isn't.
I don't think there is out there in America or in the UK. We do things kind of differently here. And I think, as Kellyon said, he's learned a lot. And I've had a few letters actually from people who have said that they've learned so much from watching the show. And they're so grateful that this show started in the lockdown. The show that started up as a rant. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just started as a rant, has developed into something that is helping people to change their lives, and this is what it's about. So I want to thank you all. Thanks for the inspiration today. Thank you for all of the motivation that you've given to our 54-year-old friend. Our 54-year-old friend, I'm going to give you one more invitation to come and join us at the R Retreat on the 29th to the 31st of October. Come and enjoy, indulge, play golf, go in the steam room, go in the sauna, go in the solarium, go do whatever you want to do. Meet people and learn and grow.
Yep.
And that's what it's about over the weekend. So this is your girl Yvonne Michelle. I'll be back here next week. I believe I can't remember what date it's next Tuesday.
It's second or third or something like that.
We have a guest. We have special guests, but I cannot.
Tuesday's the third.
Tuesday.
The
So
third.
I believe we have an entertainer coming in next week, and he's going to be talking about his relationships and his so that is next week Tuesday between the hours of 9 and 11. We will also have a small panel that will ask him questions as well, but we'll be here next week hours of 9 and 11 next Tuesday. Book your ticket on the retreat and we will see you next week. Ciao.
Kelly, and you haven't stopped skinning your teeth since the last comment.
Learn it. Lord, learn.
You ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.